Okay, you ready for this one? GLP-1s. So what is a GLP-1? First of all, it's your Ozempics, your Wegovy's. It's these weight loss shots or supplements you can take. And there's all sorts of other ones sprouting up on the internet. Real or fake, who knows? But their claim to fame is that they can reduce our appetite. They can reduce food noise for people that have struggled with weight loss and controlling their food intake. So I'm not here to say if they're right or wrong. I'm just here to share the experiences I've had working with clients that have or have not used them. I've never used a GLP-1, so I can't speak from personal experience. I have heard from many people, even that I haven't worked with, who have used some form of a GLP-1. And I'm not sure if this is a bias from the people I've heard from, that people are more likely to share a negative experience, because I have heard from people that have had positive experiences with them and it's working for them to lose weight and keep weight off. And they are, if they're a client of mine, then they are prioritizing strength work and protein intake to preserve as much lean muscle as they can. Okay? Because when you lose weight fast, you're going to lose muscle. Okay? And the only way we can reduce the amount of muscle we lose is by doing strength training and making sure we're getting enough protein and sleep and water and all that good stuff to maintain as much muscle as we can. If we lose 10 pounds really fast and we're not strength training, whether it's with the GLP-1 or not, the majority of that weight you lose will be muscle if you're not doing strength training and if you're not eating very good while you're losing the weight. So there is that side of it. But yes, like the success story I posted today about a guy I've worked with for years who's lost now over 70 pounds. He's never used GLP-1 to lose weight. So let's just compare and contrast this. Let's say there's another person that loses 70 pounds, and instead of it taking 3 years, it takes them 1 year, because the GLP-1 suppresses their appetite and does its magic, or whatever you want to call it. And so it happens a lot faster for them. I would argue that they're going to lose more muscle doing it fast like that, using a GLP-1 or even a starvation diet. Let's just say you really reduce your calories and you're miserable and hungry all the time, but you lose a lot of weight. You're going to lose a lot of muscle that way too if you do it fast. But who do you think got more out of it as a person? Who do you think developed more? Who do you think developed more discipline and consistency and being able to maintain healthy habits? The person that lost 70 pounds, like my client, eating just single ingredient foods at least 90% of the time, strength training 3 times a week, developing a daily walking practice. I mean, come on, let's be honest. It doesn't matter how great these drugs are at helping someone lose weight. We have to be honest and say the person that does it like my client gets more out of it, even if it takes longer, right? And like I said, I'm not here to convince you to use them or not use them. But if you're going to use them, you really want to make sure to be coupling that with strength training and having a nutrition plan, preferably guided by a professional, to make sure you're getting enough protein so you can avoid as many of the side effects as possible. And yes, there is benefit to losing weight, even if you're losing muscle, you know. So, like I said, there's pros and cons to using GLP-1s. But I will say, the way many of my clients have lost weight and not used GLP-1s, I ain't seeing any cons. I am not seeing any negatives. I'm not saying there's always negatives. I've heard some horror stories about people using GLP-1s, and I've heard some happy users too. But if you do things, I'm not going to say the right way, but if you do things the old-fashioned way and you develop the discipline and self-love to eat like you love your body and strength train and walk or do some form, and you're taking care of the basics and do that over the long haul, stay consistent, how can there's no negative side effects? There are none. Yes, it will take longer if you want to call that a con. But seriously, like, I am so proud of this guy and all my clients. I'm proud of the clients that have used GLP-1s too, because they're using the best tool they feel they have available at the time, but they're also strength training and prioritizing their nutrition and protein. But just a shout out to this guy who has been so consistent for 3 years. Started at 270, down to 199.4 yesterday. It's not all about weight loss. Of course, it was all his non-scale victories that got him that big scale victory. And just some things to consider if you're thinking about GLP-1s. And reach out to me if you have more questions, or if you want to argue about it, that's fine. I'll ask questions to try to help you look at it with a educated viewpoint. And or if you're going to use those, make sure you are working with a health professional you trust, not someone that is trying to sell some version of a GLP-1 and they're really only concerned about the money. So, all right, love ya. Have a good day.